See, I've got copies of the information for this meeting, if anybody needs them. It's the agenda. It's a copy of the minutes from the last meeting. It's a copy of the article, the virtual AT hike. A list, the draft of the voting members, and then a list of the potential meeting dates for this year. That's what's in this packet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, you need it? I got it.
I did not put bylaws. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I misunderstood that. I probably should have done that.
Well, I think people have got them, and it's not that complicated.
Okay.
We can get through that. Well, it is 10 o'clock. I'm sort of expecting that a couple more folks will show up as time goes on. I think since we have a new member, Commissioner Shields, here, I guess, Jerry, you want to kind of introduce yourself, and then we'll go around and folks can introduce themselves. I think you know some by face, but you'll get to know the organization they represent.
I'm Gary Shields, just recently elected to the Macon County Commissioner Board. I served in the Macon County school system for 29 years here, but 37 years overall. In my early days, I was in Uncle Sam, and I'm glad to be here. I understand there's a learning gap, and that's part of coming here and trying to fill out and listen to what's everybody's concerns are. And what I enjoyed looking at is that everyone's concern seems to be about the betterment of Macon County. That's what I like. And I want to say thank you for allowing me to be on this board too.
Welcome. Thank you.
Matt, why don't you go?
Matt Bateman.
Yeah, and the organization you represent.
And Stand Flame and Smoky is my website business. I'm involved in various other areas in town, but that's who I'm representing as far as the outdoors go.
First time ever. It's colder outside.
I'm Christina Lowe with the library, and I'm also involved with the Legal Women Voters, and I like to hike. That's all I'm doing.
I'm Bob Scott, and I'm with the town.
Tom Taylor, the Forest Service.
Senator Jordan, Lumpkin Rental Hiking Club, and part of the maintaining.
And I'm Bill Van Horn, a member of the Nantahala Hiking Club, and I volunteer on a couple of positions with Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and I was elected as chairman for this year. So.
I'm Diana. I'm with the Nantahala Hiking Club.
I'm Ken Murphy, representing Lazy Hiker Brewing Company.
Rob Gasparo with Outdoor 76.
Okay, thank you. A little bit more for an introduction, Gary. I believe, and please correct me, I know you won't hesitate to do that, but sort of the bottom line here, when the town submitted an application to become an Appalachian Trail community, it boiled down to the very basics. Is the intent is to seek the mutual benefit to the trail, those that hike it, and the local community, and to do things together that support the trail, support the hikers, as well as benefit the local community. Is the idea behind the Appalachian Trail Community Program, of which there are, I think, 39 towns now along the trail that have submitted an application and become members. And if you would turn to the handout, go to the next to the last page where it has the voting members. And again, as part of an education, if you will, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but Gary, as you look down that list, you'll see the members of the committee from the very beginning back in 2009. The town was represented, both on aldermen. It was Bob Scott at the time, and then we had the Franklin town planner. We had a commissioner, the Macon County planner, the hiking club, the Nathala Ranger District as our land manager, a member from the chamber, a member from the school system, the Macon County Library, the Three Eagle Outfitters, the Budget Inn, Sapphire Inn. Ron Haven was initial member of the committee. Stay and Play in the Smokies, Outdoor 76, and our most recent member is a Lazy Hiker Brewing Company. So we look at the committee obviously reached out to the small businesses, and that gets to the benefit of the local community. So we have a number of small businesses are represented on the committee. And speaking of Macon County Schools, hey Shelley, how you doing?
Good.
Shelley, do you know Gary Shields?
I do.
Probably do, right? Huh?
Former student.
Yeah.
Former student.
Yeah.
Or regular students. Eric and all.
Okay.
Yeah, we were about the same age. Which wicked.
So those are the voting members, or the members, and this has to be a decision on the voting members. We recently, again, trying to reach out to other organizations and get them involved. Friends of the Greenway, the committee decided that we would look at other organizations we'd like to invite. So Friends of the Greenway came up, and so they've been sent a representative. And then, if you will, sort of in an ex officio group, maybe, to call them. We have the Appalachian Regional Office in Asheville. ATC has 4 regional offices up and down the trail, and that's the Southern Regional Office. And their boundaries go from Springer Mountain, Georgia, up to basically the North Carolina-Virginia line. And they try to oversee the 5 southern clubs of the 31 maintaining clubs. And so listen as an ex officio member. And then we thought that the Main Street program and the Franklin Tourism Development Authority have been invited to come to our meetings so that we share ideas and we have synergy working together and share concerns and support each other is the intent. And Matt is a member of the TDA, which you know. So that's kind of the group. That's been pretty constant. Like I said, we recently added the Lazy Hiker Brewing Company, and we asked the Friends of the Greenway to be a member where we are. So, that was a little digression to represent what the organization is about. I will mention that Diana and Sanho are here today. Normally David Lippy is here representing the Nathala Hiking Club, but yesterday he had, I think he had, both knees replaced.
There were pictures on Facebook.
Hadn't been there yet. So
There's classes them everywhere.
yeah. So that's why Diana and Sanho are here today, representing the Nathala. Okay, review of the minutes.
Yeah, I sent the minutes out for last month's meeting and no changes were made. So if you can have a motion to accept last month's minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Old business. The AT celebration event for 2015. Just to sort of reiterate, we decided that we'd look at a period loosely starting with the first day of spring through Earth Day. I personally reached out to the First Baptist Church and spoke with their assistant pastor just to confirm they will do their free hiker breakfast starting on Saturday the 14th of March and going through the Saturday the 11th of April. I asked that they put together whatever they would like to go out on social media with the intent to get that to us by the 1st of February.
March the 14th will be the Earth Day. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's the
25th.
22nd.
okay. Earth Day is the 22nd of April. So again, in the past, Gary, we focused a lot of effort on one weekend, and we as a committee decided that we wanted to spread that focus out over a longer period of time and have multiple events to occur. And so this is the first time we've done this, tried this. So we looked at the period of first day of spring, 20 March, happens to be a Friday, to go through Earth Day, 22nd of April, happens to be a Wednesday. And local businesses, organizations will look and see what sort of event and when they want to do it. But that's kind of loosely what we're looking at as a period in which to focus on events. We're looking at the impact that especially a couple of movies are going to have on the trail. The movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon, and then more importantly, the movie starring Robert Redford, based on the Bill Bryson book, Walk in the Woods. So this is a task force looks and sees how to, the big concern is impact on the trail, and impact on the individual's hiker's experience, if you will, that additional people will cause to happen. And so that's one of the charts I came up with. And so even though that's only based on the people that responded, historically, I think Rob, and those would say that's a pretty good representation of when they're. And you add 7 to 10, 12 days of that, and that's when they show up in Franklin. Okay, I know some other folks were going to reach out to other organizations. Just any other reports, feedback?
I checked with Jackie. She said she had already given me the dates for the Eagles event.
Right. Right. I don't know if she, whatever she's going to put together for advertisement, I hope she'll give us a few sentences of words or whatever exactly what they're going to do. But again, the Three Eagles plans on focusing their effort on the Saturday the 28th of March, and again, I believe Ron Haven will do the same thing, focusing his effort on the 27th and 28th of March at the Sapphire Inn.
The hiking club is still planning to have a through hiker picnic on March 28th. That's a Saturday, and that'll be at the Lazy Hiker Brewery.
And I would like to talk with tonight about what we need to do in that regard. It looks like we will not be open to the public until late April, but we're happy to host prior to that. And we'll also probably be able to set up some hiker services prior to that public computer.
Okay.
Yeah, the hiking club is going to have a board meeting in on February 10th, so we'll get together more details then.
Okay,
Get
that'd be
together
great.
with you as well. We're still planning to do Easter on the trail. That's going to be April 4th. Again, more details to follow after our board meeting. And then for the art exhibit, Christina, I believe that's going to be, they'll be ready to hand April 17th, and reception will be April 21st. That's a Tuesday, 6 to 7 p.m.
Where will that be? Will it be at the library?
Yeah, out in the living room.
Okay, all right.
Where's the Easter on the Trail?
Yeah. What typically happens is this is something that the club has done for a number of years, and we're kind of known for it. But the intent is that club members come together with Easter goodies. We meet at our clubhouse. We divide those goodies up into small bags, Ziploc bags, and then members go out to various locations on the trail on that Saturday before Easter. And depending on their hiking ability and age, they may stand, like at Winding Stair Gap, as the hikers come by, or they may go to a spot on the trail and typically hike south and run into the hikers early Saturday morning.
Just handing out, it's not
Yep.
any sort of...
Giving out
No,
trail magic.
yeah. So basically, the concept of trail magic, where we hand out fruit, hard-boiled eggs, candy, that type sort of thing. And typically at that time of year, if you're standing on the AT, if you were to stand there for 24 hours, in excess of 50 hikers will pass you at that point in time. So by going out, the club spread out between Deep Gap all the way to, say, Tellico Gap, they may see 100 hikers on that Saturday. That's just not the club is.
And you're doing that Saturday or Easter Sunday?
April 4th.
It's the
Saturday.
Saturday. Saturday before Easter. Yep. Christine, you want to, since Diana brought it up, you want to talk a little bit more about the art exhibit?
Sure, yeah. This is something we've done for a few years now with the Macon County art teacher, Naomi Albee. She gets her students to do outdoor nature-related art during this time of year, and she displays it, and we help hang it up in the living room of the library. And we do certificates. We don't do awards. We just do participation certificates and have a reception after it's been up. And it's been a great thing. Kids come, they bring their families. We have a couple hundred people in the library that afternoon. And just recognize them, and we keep it up for a couple of weeks.
And so this year, typically it's been a little bit earlier, but this year, because we have the, if you will, the AT celebration period, the group that's planning it decided to do it on Tuesday, the 21st of April, which is the night before Earth Day, so it has a good linkage there. Okay, any other comments, input on specific events that will be occurring? Okay.
Do you have dates from us? Did we?
No.
Okay. We're looking at I think just that weekend is still going to be a core weekend, 3/28. We're more than likely going to do something community driven on the 28th, and we're thinking about doing something hiker specific on the 4th. Like it would, I don't know. I say hiker specific. It's not going to be public advertising driven.
So the 4th of April?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that Easter weekend. We know that's, even though it may not be a good weekend for for events, traveling, family things, it is going to be a crazy high volume weekend for hikers this year. Depending on what the weather does this year, the weekend of the 4th could actually be bigger than the weekend of the 28th.
Okay, website update?
I have, I got one copy railed off here. This is the text. This is the text for the homepage. You guys are more than welcome to pass it around and read through it. I will email this out to everybody today, and I would really, strongly encourage, just because I'm critical of myself and how I write, any kind of feedback. You go, whoa, man, you're missing this, or this is very, very adverb and adjective rich. So get rid of fluff, looks good, whatever. Tell me what people want, but I'll have this out to everybody today. I think I would put this in the same bracket as Facebook. I think Corey said he's an administrator, he's on top of that.
Yeah, the Facebook page is set up. Corey just added the cover photo to it, so it's all set and ready to go.
And that actually there's one thing I thought of. If any of you guys, maybe a slim shot, but if any of you guys have any photos, like personal pictures, laying around that anybody's taken during any of the AT events, or Bill, you guys, the hiking club's got any trail pictures? We've got a good bit of stuff too. A lot of it is shop merch perspective, like maybe somebody wearing an Outdoor 76 t-shirt or something like that, which I know we don't want to put that on this page. Just any good fun pictures of people hiking the trail or whatever you guys can send us. Other than that, I think we need all the dates. If we can get all the dates lumped into one document, so we can get them plugged into the calendar on the website. I've got Ron Havens and Three Eagles thing on here for the 28th. So obviously, if someone can pass that information on to us, we'll get that on there whenever you guys acquire it.
See, on the reference of photos, Bob, do you have some from earlier?
Yeah, if I can find it.
I've
Okay.
got them from libraries.
Yeah.
From libraries.
Even like old photos would be cool. Just anything.
No, I'll go back and look at photos that I've taken of some of the past Trail Days events.
There's a whole bunch on the town's website about the trail days.
Okay.
I think you just click on it and copy the picture. I think.
Okay. I know there was a couple on there.
Yeah, it's quite a few. I forgot how many, but I was looking at them the other night, yeah.
Okay.
And could they go to our Facebook page and get photos?
Okay.
Because Diana's
With
done a
permission from you guys
great
to do
job
that.
of doing
All right.
that. And I'm not, honestly, I'm not that,
Panther Town and stuff on there. Oh my gosh, where's that?
I'm not that social media savvy, but I think once both the Facebook page and the website, if somehow we can get that information to White Blaze, and also there's this other site, Appalachian Trials.
Yeah, so that's actually something else I was going to bring up too. I think it would probably be in our best interest to take this group and go the blog route. I think that's just the more and more hikers we talk to, and this is purely unbiased. I mean, I have some great opinions and some sketchy opinions on White Blaze, but I think collectively White Blaze is becoming less and less of a resource for hikers. This is my take on it. The more and more hikers we're talking to that are preparing for a trip, most of them are just tearing journals apart. Hitting Appalachian Trials, I've heard that already this season 20 times. So maybe for us to set up something for hikers to follow in Appalachian Trials. I know as a shop we're going to do it. In trail journals.
I think it's is it .com? I'm not sure. But I know, again, the Walk in the Woods Task Force has been reaching out to the individual that runs that. He seems to be pretty squared away, pretty savvy, and I think a worthwhile resource for us to tap into. I think he represents kind of our thought process and that type of thing. We talked about the Macon County School Appalachian Trail Art Project. I'm sorry, Macon County Transit. I'll tell you what I know, and then Justin, maybe you got something new. I did, Kim Angel, I met with her. We went over the Forest Service application, and then she filled some of it out. She emailed me back. I provided some thoughts, and I tried to talk to her yesterday to see if she's turned it in. I don't know. That might not be something
I can check with Julie, but
okay. But Justin, you got anything?
I had a variance hearing for her yesterday, and I'm going to ask her, and I completely forgot if she finished any of that. So
Okay.
I don't have anything new to add. That was
okay. But the intent there is to assist, help get the application in, so the Forest Service has time to analyze it, and then my impression on those applications is normally a little bit of give and take. Forest Service looks at it, probably asks for a little bit more information, and then eventually, which is a good point, is that the local ranger, Mike Wilkins, will make a decision on that application. So, again, at least from Kim's point of view, and I think from our point of view, we're looking at it as it's kind of a public transportation option to support the hikers to get them into town. And you may have seen, I did send that graph to Kim so she can see, to help with her planning on when they're going to stand up and have that route out to Winding Stair, and then bring the hikers into town. A Walk in the Woods Task Force update. I may have mentioned this before, but the film A Walk in the Woods, in my understanding, it'll be shown at the Robert Redford Sundance Film Festival, which I believe is the end of this month. I did have an opportunity to see the movie Wild in Asheville. Although the story takes place on the trail, it's really more about the transformation that Cheryl Strayed went through out on the trail. So it's not so much a travel log of the Pacific Crest Trail, but anyway, that part.
Do you see it being, I haven't seen it yet, do you see it being an inspirational, some guy, some girl sitting at home going to watch that movie?
It might be.
Going, oh my gosh, I've got to go hike a long trail next season.
It might be. Just like the warrior hikers walking off the woods. Obviously, if you read a lot about, obviously, being in nature for a prolonged period of time have some healing qualities. Before you mentioned that, another thought just went whizzing through my head. I also sent you a link. One of the things the Appalachian Trail Conservancy wants to do is to establish a self-registration site. The intent is that people that are going to hike the trail will go there. They'll have an opportunity to say when they're going to start, and they'll be able to see if they and 200 of their best friends are starting on the same day. The intent there is to provide them the information that if they want to change their start date, so there's not such a big group starting at one time, that they'll have the option to do that. The Conservancy will basically put a recommended number of folks that should start on one day to protect the environment as well as to provide a good hiking experience. and that they hadn't necessarily decided on that number. It is involved in a number of campsites that are available within a day's hiking of Springer Mountain. So it'll probably be around 50 to 80 maybe, would be the recommendation. And again, but it's self-registration. They're not saying you can't start on any day you want to. They're just giving people the opportunity to see if they might want to spread out their start date. So they're doing that. The Conservancy is also pushing the idea of different start locations, the flip-flop, if you will. They say they're going to focus a lot of effort on starting at Harper's Ferry, kind of a logical start place with Conservancy headquarters, and so that folks would start at Harper's Ferry. In fact, they're going to have a kickoff, if you will, on the 2nd of May, Saturday the 2nd of May, and recommending. I think their recommendation would be start there, hike north, get to Katahdin, flip-flop down to Springer, and then hike back to Harper's Ferry. So that's one of the things they're looking at doing. Just for your background information, the northern terminus of the trail ends at Mount Katahdin in Baxter State Park in Maine. There's no federal jurisdiction whatsoever over the trail in Baxter State Park, and Baxter State Park sent a relatively detailed letter to the Appalachian Trail Conservancy expressing their concerns over some of the behavior of the thru hikers when they get to Katahdin. And it's the normal behavior that we have seen and we can probably think about. There's that 5 or 10% that kind of ruin things. And the Conservancy will be meeting with the Baxter State Park folks to see how they can be remedied, and let Baxter know that ATC is taking efforts to look at the increased traffic, and the Conservancy's point of view has always been a focus on educating the hikers on the very hazardous time. So we're there. Bylaw review.
We don't have copies for everyone. Last month we got a little ways through the revisions, and I've done those and sent those out to everyone. I don't know if anyone has any suggestions to make now, or if you just want to email that to me.
I guess I would say if you have some concerns, and it don't want to take a lot of time, but if you want to put them out here and we can kind of discuss a little bit, and we can spend a little time on it.
I've got some things I'd just like to get with you directly on that are more stylistic or just presentation oriented, but there's a few things I wanted to bring up to the group, though, if that's all right.
Sure, go ahead.
Unfortunately, one of them involves the mission statement, the purpose section, which includes the mission statement, and I realized that was approved at the last meeting. I wasn't here and didn't give Lenny my comments. But a couple things that I propose we do there under the mission statement section. I think the third bullet is provide the best possible experience for AT through hikers, section hikers, and day hikers. I think it needs an S, alike through hiker friendliness. Am I reading the current version?
Right, yeah.
And I'd propose to add in services after friendliness. And it's one thing to be friendly and shake hands, it's another to actually give assistance. Then a couple of more minor things in the fourth line of the purpose paragraph, where we talk about raising community and visitor awareness of the history, uses, value, and protection of the AT. And that
Go in the purpose paragraph.
Right.
and that may be okay as is, but I would propose to add need for protection of the AT, or I mean, if what we're doing is raising community awareness, it's more of an awareness of what we need to do, not just what has been done to protect. And my last nit in the, under the mission statement is grow awareness of the AT is with the citizens, and I would say among the citizens, but that's a real nit. But those are things I think y'all discussed last time. And then I've got a couple of, in reading through, there were a couple of things. One, the membership is dealt with as on an individual basis, but we're actually set up so that our membership is composed of organizational representatives, and some representatives are defined, or some members are defined by positions they hold. And I think we ought to be explicit about that in our bylaws, and not just speak to individuals. And that,
You might, I think, now that you think about it, I think that you might be right in that there's no individual, it's always, it's businesses or organizations, is
Right.
what you're.
right, because if you look at that last,
Yep.
last page you sent out, so I propose to work with y'all on.
Take the persons out and put something other in.
Right,
Organizations
right.
or-
And, you know, I have no problem with this requiring high moral character, whatever the phrase is. I just don't know how we're going to really.
We took that out.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah,
That was one of the ones that went out.
Good, I'm afraid I was going to have to resign.
Don't want to be held to that.
That's right. But the other thing I just raised before the committee, this is set up so that you basically have to have the recommendation of the nominating committee to be elected, and which would preclude nominations from the floor. So basically, if you're in the nominating committee slate, that's the only way you officially can get elected. And I would propose that we make it the way the nominating committee normally works, where it's presenting recommendations, but the committee still has the authority to thumbs up, thumbs down, and add people from the floor should they be so inclined. But the rest of my comments are more from an inability to stifle my legal background.
I have one question, one comment that may or may not have merit. You were talking in the purpose statement, line 4, where it talks about protection of the AT in Macon County. The ATC is a conservation agency, and conservation versus preservation, the interpretation might be varied. Protection means keep something in its natural, original state. And with using it, we know we're going to change the natural state. So conservation of the trail adds that use.
So,
It's
so
just
back
food
to
for
the-
thought.
The protection of the AT.
Yeah, my thought is, conservation of the Appalachian Trail in Macon County, because we are using it. And ATC
Is
is a
there language
conservancy.
that the ATC uses? Is there a verb thing?
I would, we could look at their mission statement
Okay.
and see if there's something that we want to use out of that.
Yeah, and the Park Service is a preservation agency, so since they're the lead, they may be using both verbs. Just food for thought.
But you're saying that potentially,
Just
you're
change
giving us a
protection to
definition of
conservation.
protection. And so you're saying conservation versus protection?
Yeah, or conservation versus preservation.
Okay. Okay, well, again, we can look at the ATC's mission as it relates specifically to the trail, whether it be conservation or preservation.
But you could put a slash mark in there and cover both of them.
Right.
Does that seem best for both of them? Protection and conservation?
I think, why don't we look, Christina, we'll look
Yeah.
and see what ATC has, and then we can come back with a couple of different options and see what the group wants to do. Okay, anything else? Yeah, I appreciate Christina, if you would, make those few changes that came up, and we'll send it all out, and would like to put this thing behind us. So, please review it, and we'll look to address it some more next time.
Could I get with you maybe next week and I'm not sure all my other comments are self-explanatory. So.
Yeah. Do we want to wait till after we've done the application meeting next Tuesday? Because we've got that.
Unless we have to, do we have to submit this in connection with the application?
We do, but we're still
Still plenty of time. Okay.
Yeah, if we get this in by dependent upon what we want to do as far as a point in time, whether it's from a press release to a celebration, if we get get the renewal packet in, mid-March should be fine. Okay.
Okay, so I'll get these changes out.
Matt, comment on the action item review. And everyone recall we came up with actually the executive committee came up with a number of items, and with Matt's help we arranged them in 3 categories. We're doing, in my opinion, fairly good through group 1 and 2. Matt, comments?
Keep up the good work.
I think one thing, when we meet to prepare the renewal form, one of the questions in there, a couple of questions deal with strategic plan, goals and objectives, and looking out for the next 5 years. And when you look back through that list of action items, that third group obviously contains some of those items that will take a longer period of time. So I think that's, as we work on that renewal form and we think about where we, the organization, the town, the local community, where we would want to be in 5 years, then I think we can look at some action items that are going to take time and effort, and we can focus our efforts on those. Notwithstanding one of them being we got the kiosk with the Forest Service's help. We got brand new kiosks at Winding Stair Gap, both northbound and southbound. We had talked in the past about wayfinding signage located around Franklin to guide people to presumably Winding Stair Gap, closest, easiest access to the trail. So those are some things that I'd ask you to take a look at as we get ready for that renewal, going over the renewal form.
I can send that list out to those action items to everyone. Just a refresher review.
In the renewal form, again, talking about the strategic plan, here's my ignorance. I didn't know if the town and or the county has a strategic plan or a similar document. And if they do, that would be valuable for, I think, for this committee to look at. And as we look at our strategic plan, or those things that we want to accomplish over the next few years, to see if there's ways that we can support some verbiage that are either in a town document or a county document.
I don't know of anything.
Bobby's over here nodding. I bet Bobby knows.
There's one, but I can't find it on their website.
So Justin, would you work with Matt and navigation and see if there's
Didn't you say you're going to a
The
meeting?
county has their
What
comprehensive
would be
plan.
tonight? I can't imagine the county not having a strategic plan, like schools and stuff. I may be wrong.
Right. But I was going to ask Gary if Justin would look at the town from the town point of view, and then ask Matt to look from the county point of view. And I'm just saying, if there's some strategic documents out there that relate to what we're doing, that we need to see that so that we
There
can
might be some,
support.
something in the county's comprehensive plan, maybe, you know, there's all sorts of information in it, so there might be something in it. That'd be a good starting place to look.
Okay. But again, did you ask Matt to pull some things out so that we can focus our effort? You know, if there's something that deals with tourism or recreation or whatever, that would be valuable for us to have in front of us when we look at what we would want to do strategically. Okay, any other old business? Okay, under new business, I sent out an article that was in the Appalachian Trail Conservancy's magazine in the November, December copy version about this virtual hike. That was done over in out of Unicoi County in Irwin, Unicoi County, Tennessee. They are also an Appalachian Trail community. I thought it was interesting, a way to draw attention about the Appalachian Trail to some folks that maybe don't know that much about it. I've asked them as they gear up to do this again, if they do this spring, to forward any information. I didn't know if someone would be willing to approach the public health folks to see if that's something with their, obviously they do a number of programs for like Fit for Life and to get people eating right and exercising and that type sort of thing. But I thought the idea of a virtual hike during our AT celebration period, kicking off during that or whatever, again, focusing on the Appalachian Trail that's right outside of town, whether they walk on it or not. I don't know, Matt, if this is something you might want to bring to the fitness center or see if there's some way they could capitalize on this concept. And
Actually, Bill, I was thinking it might be a nice thing to do at a different time of year to have another emphasis on the trail other than trail days. It sounds like a neat thing.
This could go in really well with like that collaborative event we talked about, doing something later in the summer, like when they did the float and the bike ride and all that.
okay. Well,
It's really cool.
Just throw it out there. I think it is kind of neat, and I know that again, the public health here in town has done, along in association with the hospital, has done a number of programs involved in eating right and exercising and that type of thing. So,
Yeah, and there's the healthy schools, healthy kids initiative.
yeah. So it's out there.
There's that family hike day, is it the first weekend in June?
Yeah.
National Public Lands Day.
Yeah, it is.
Sweet. Yeah, but you have the National Public,
Is there a national Thanksgiving?
yeah, day.
Actually, no, I just showed up.
Yeah, I was wondering,
What's that?
if I come copy
That's
this.
the thing is, you guys want to all like pile around?
Yeah. See, they got anything to write about Franklin, right?
Speaking of which, do we know if there's any mention of this in the movie?
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
there
I
is.
don't know. Well, we were certainly mentioned in the book.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Christina, you want to talk about the library backpack program?
Yeah, this seems like a fun opportunity, and I've talked with our children's librarian and our director, Karen Wallace, and we're so up in Damascus Library, they have 4 backpacks that people can check out. They've got maps, first aid kit, compasses, just basic hiking supplies, emergency supplies. You can check them out for a certain amount of time. And we're thinking, they used a grant to fund it. We're, at the library at least, wondering if between the library funds and like funds that the hiking club has given the library, and possible donations from local outfitters maybe, and also maybe from like backpack companies who have overstock or out-of-date backpacks. We might be able to do it without a grant, like have just a couple of packs. They're interested in how much, they were asking how much circulation backpacks got at the library. I don't know, Bill, if you had a chance to talk with them.
I did contact the library in Damascus, and it's a relatively small library, and this, they really don't have much past history because it all came together kind of like during the summer. I've been told that Damascus stole this idea from another AT community, and I'm trying to find out which community that was and to go back to them and see if they have more history of how the program is worked.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it'd be hard to do. Like Karen was saying, you probably want to have sort of a little contract that people sign.
Yeah, so you don't just take off what you're selling.
Right, yeah, and they did a good thing. They had like a laminated list of what's in there.
What's inside of it.
Yeah, we've also just recently gotten a telescope donated by the Asheville Astronomy Club, and comes in a big crate. You can check that out. It's got instructions with it, books, night sky maps. So we'll see how that works and kind of compare, kind of work it a similar way. Have a list of what all is in there, pictures of what's in there. And Karen also mentioned like maybe having interchangeable packs depending on what direction people want to go, whether they want to do the Appalachian Trail or the Barnegas or other locations. Yeah, we're just still working on it. And I guess the hiking club is going to talk about it at your meeting next month.
Okay. Any other new business?
Our applications for Macon County Schools, Community Supporter, and CART-TJ, Mr. Lynch has signed it. When he gets it back to me, it will be mailed. It should be ready to go. Macon County Schools should be ready to go, so we should have those too.
Okay, so you got the county schools as an entirety, and then CART-TJ as a
Yes,
separate.
and then CART-TJ separate.
I'd like to make sure we get a copy before they take
Before
it
they
off,
get
so we
done.
got it in our records here. It'd be
I
great.
send it to them, they'll send it back to me by snail mail, and then I'll
Okay.
sit down with you and look it up and define and send it on.
Okay, good. And I know that, well, we need to vote, never mind, we need to vote on it. So, because we are the decision authority. So, yeah, we need to,
Okay,
you
so
know,
I'll
at
bring
our
them
next
in.
meeting or whatever, to, get them in so that we can vote on those for the AT Community Supporter Program. We vote, that's the end, gets sent to ATC, and then they'll send the regional office, and then they'll send the certificate and decal back to here, and then we'll work on doing the appropriate presentation. So that'll be great. Good.
But we're still having that January the 20th meeting at the Lazy Hunter.
I'm getting there, Bob. On what I handed out under paragraph 6, next meeting date, I was moving too fast or too slow. First of all, the meeting, yeah, that is today. That's good, right?
Did we get lunch?
We'll talk a little bit more about this, but the next regular scheduled meeting would normally usually be the second Tuesday of February, which is the 10th. Same time, same location. But as Bob brought up, we had decided last time that we would have a special meeting to go over and draft, fill out the recertification form, and that was we had discussed Tuesday the 20th of January. Lenny had offered up your separate, your event room, and we had discussed 6 to 8 in the evening, and Bob had sort of thought that the town would buy the pizza.
I got that close.
Can I throw one thing out?
Sure.
You got your chamber banquet that night. At my, Ken, myself, chamber banquet, 6:30 p.m. Tartan Hall.
Okay.
But now that may not affect.
Who would be going? Gary, Ken, Lenny, both of you?
Well, Lenny and I'll split up, so we can still host.
I should be going, but
We'll meet in your town.
that's right. I offered pizzas at another place.
It's not on that pizza.
They have their chamber there, providing the food too.
I mean, do we just want to look at the following Tuesday, the 27th?
For what it's worth, I'm not available that day. I know we did some dates, or we were looking at dates and whatever, but it seems to me that maybe it would be best to move it off the 20th.
Don't move it because of me, I'll just obligate.
Well, no, it's hard to, there's a lot going on in this, in our community, so.
Yeah, the chamber's some place that a few of us should do that.
And we certainly like the chamber at our meeting too, so.
Who is your representative from the chamber?
Usually it's Linda, yeah.
Does it have to be on a Tuesday?
Yeah, I'd
Yeah, it
suggest that.
doesn't need to. I could do Wednesdays.
Is there anything in our organizational documents that prohibit us from operating, communicating by email? And like, you're smiling.
No,
No, there's not.
Okay.
I don't know, this seems like something.
Oh, no, I'm not suggesting in lieu or to replace a meeting, but one of the things I was going to suggest, and we're having a hard time coming up with one date, I was going to say, is February, because of its positioning with, it will literally, we probably get one of the last meetings before we really start. Is there any reason we may want to meet twice in February? It's just for hammering last little things out,
How much of a deadline are we under to do that?
I mean, I don't know that there's really a whole lot to do.
No, there's not a big deadline, Bob. I was just thinking, our 5 years are up, basically in April. I don't think ATC is going to have an issue, whether we delay or not. I was sort of anticipating that we would, be April, that we would do our recertification, get designated again, but that doesn't have to be. It can slip if it has to. I don't think filling out the form would take a great deal of effort. I just think it takes a couple hours sitting around a table and resurrecting what has gone in the past for those of us who've been in it for a long time, and we can make it happen. But it may be, I think, what I might be hearing is it might be tough to schedule, since most of us had focused in on the 20th. If we were now to change it to say Wednesday or Thursday of that week, whatever, we might lose people because your calendar's already full. And maybe that's why you were coming back, Rob, to say, maybe we need to, if we're going to, this recertification form meeting, we may have to move into early February.
What's the date you guys have for that?
Well, we had scheduled to do it on the 20th of January, Tuesday the 20th.
I mean, maybe we should just keep
Is that just for you guys? Is that all, are we all meeting for that?
Was to be, we would hope that, everyone that on the committee. that
Okay,
could
gotcha,
look
all right,
at-
that wasn't on my calendar for some
Yeah.
reason, I don't know. So the 20th is, what time is that meeting set up?
It's not a subcommittee, it's a total 15.
Well, that was the intent. Yeah, it was not a subcommittee.
Is that
To
scheduled?
get as many members as possible to come,
What time?
to draft, to put together the draft.
I think you just have to stick to it. I mean, there's always going to be interference
Well,
with
that's
this.
true.
So
Not only
just-
that, it's just that
Okay.
if everybody,
It's here, right?
at the lazy home, yes, at least.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we'll stay the course. Again, it's a draft that we'll put together for those members that can't be there. Obviously, we're going to share it, and with the hopes of getting it into ATC by the middle of March.
That draft has a name.
Right. And I will send out the form, Gary, to
Did you
everyone.
already do that? The old form?
To the members a long time ago, but I will send it out again. I'll send the document out. It's about 8 or 9 pages. It's questions to answer, fill in the block, that sort of thing. So
I believe I got that from somebody.
Don't know.
Ms. Paul, did I get that from you?
I'm sorry,
Did I get that draft? I
the
mean,
draft,
from you?
Of the recertification form?
no,
I don't think that was the
so.
bylaws.
No, that was
probably.
the bylaws.
Okay, let's look at the last 2 pages of the handout for this meeting. The first item is the draft, if you will, of the membership. Based upon the bylaws, when Christina and I met to draft the bylaws, looking at other bylaws, they had the category of ex officio. And the concept of non-voting sort of came from me as I put together this draft. So comments on this?
And you may be covered in the bylaws, but how are you distinguishing between the non-voting members and the ex officio members?
That is not covered in the bylaws. It would just be, we discussed at our last meeting that instead of putting this in the bylaws, there would just be, once it's decided, voted on this, a copy of this would reside with the secretary of this list.
Is there any need to distinguish between the two?
Between,
Non-voting members and ex officio members?
don't know. I just thought that using the term ex officio based upon the organization and their position,
Okay.
maybe gives them a little bit more prestige, if you will. I personally think, obviously we've had Matt here representing the TDA. Not 100% sure what's happening with the Main Street program, but obviously if they exist, I feel our committee needs to be linked with them and work with them. So,
Mr. Van Horn, you left out TDC for a reason. Is that a county, just because it's county?
no, again, Gary, the kind of who's a member or who we'd like to invite, that can be discussed.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking down this list, and there are a number of people that never come nor ever assign a proxy. Is there any law in the bylaws or whatever that says if you miss X number of meetings, then you're wiped off the committee? Because to me, it's kind of ridiculous for us to keep carrying people
Yeah.
if they don't want to have anything to do with it.
I agree with
I
that.
think it's if you miss two.
Right, it's in the, right, Patty, it's in the bylaws. If you miss 2 without telling somebody,
2 meetings or 2 years?
2 meetings.
Without, you
Without,
could always send a proxy.
right. And of course, I sent out,
Because I'm noticing there's a number of them that don't ever show up.
But it's not
And that
automatic.
don't assign a proxy.
But it's not automatic. I mean, the bylaws, the current bylaws draft provides that they can be removed.
Right.
They don't
And
automatically.
You're
remove
gonna run
something.
into trouble with representation from the school system, because it's really, I have to beg, plead, and borrow people to get here.
well, again, you can, the bylaws are written
But you
such that
communicate with
you
people.
can,
That's the
you can
difference.
inform that you're not going to be here, and then assign your proxy.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make it,
Christine could be my
Right,
proxy.
right, we're trying to make it easy. And the bylaws state that no one here can be assigned more than one proxy. So you can't like gang up on the rest of us, that sort of thing. So, and Patty, we have reached out to several of them, and,
That's why I asked,
Me
because I know
too.
you keep reaching out to.
right. I will, we get the bylaws approved, no. Then we'll have something to fall back on. But I will approach those entities that are not coming, have not let us know that they can't be here and have not assigned a proxy and said that.
Have we even asked them, do you even want to be a part of the committee?
Maybe not, I would say not directly.
I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I know we put them on there because they have an interest in what we do, but if they don't want to be a part of it, then,
Right. Understand.
Writings on the wall.
The stay and play and smoke is that Dave Husky? H-U-S-K-I-N, Dave?
Oh, that's Visitor Center. Dave,
Yes.
the Huskins?
Is he part of?
No, he is not.
Okay.
No.
So the entities that I think you're talking about, Patty, Matt, in fact, I saw Matt Mason, he mentioned me that he would, in fact, he emailed me that he would be here. So did he talk to you, Justin?
No.
Okay, because in my logical mind would say you could be his proxy, but, so the Macon County Planner hasn't been here in a while. The Chamber hasn't been here in a while. Three Eagles hadn't been here in a while, and the Budget Sapphire Inn hasn't been here in a while.
Three Eagles, didn't they say they couldn't ever get somebody to come to the store or something? Didn't we have that discussion a couple months ago?
Yeah, they did say they had a parking.
You guys make it happen.
We make it happen every week.
Strange.
In defense of Mr. Mason, the second Tuesday is your county commissioners meeting, and also at 4 o'clock on the second Tuesday is your planning meeting. So, and he's the
Right,
guru of both of those, providing information.
okay.
So I'd say he's trying to get,
He's trying to get ready for both those,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Have you got anything back from the TDA? Any response from the chair?
No,
Okay.
no, I have not from the TDA, nor have I from the Main Street program.
Chamber of Commerce?
Now, of course, Linda came here a couple months ago.
Okay.
Who's the head of the Main Street program now?
Tony Engel.
Oh.
Yeah, Bo
Is the
Bryant.
chair.
Is anyone on the Main Street program? Are you part of? Okay, well, and they would just say you're the rep, then it'd be okay. But,
You gotta get 2 votes.
but only 2 votes. But only 2 votes. And it's the TDA. Still, TDA is.
TDA Town, TC's County.
Yeah, the TDA. Who's still Candy?
He's the chair. Correct.
And wouldn't it be appropriate to have the TDC as
open to be inclusive, and if there's, that's the intent. And we've gone over this list before to see if there's someone else that we think would benefit, that not only would we benefit, but their organization would benefit too, so that's fine.
Just a question of procedure. Are we starting out with the assumption that these are the members, and once we adopt the bylaws, then we'll go through the procedures, and if people miss a couple of meetings, or are we going to essentially invite everybody on this list to be members? I mean, I guess we're technically already constituted, right? Even though we don't have.
That would be my interpretation.
Okay.
This is kind of what we've been operating under since '09.
Okay.
And now, and unfortunately, we didn't develop bylaws back then and that type of thing, but.
But it sounds like you're going to reach out, or somebody's going to reach out.
I'm going to reach out. I'm going to be the bad person. All right. I'll do that. Be as diplomatic as I can.
That's for being a community.
Yeah. Over communicate.
What about the Macon County Rec Bar? That I just spoke with them recently, trying to help a hiker, and found out that people can take showers there for free anytime they're open. I didn't know
That's good
that.
info, yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, down at where the basketball.
Yes.
Is it typically unlocked?
It's open 7 days a week.
And they're almost all daylight hours.
I don't think it's 24, I don't think it's 20.
No.
No, it's not. The
It's
hours
usually closed
are
up unless there's a
posted.
game by about 5:36.
Yeah, the hours are posted on their website. I mean, it's.
But it's,
a
I
lot
mean,
of
it's
hours.
open more often than not. I mean,
Yeah.
because there's always something going on there, so.
You mean the facility on Georgia Road?
Mhm.
Okay. And, one of the items on the recertification question they ask when you look at facilities or support is camping. The availability of camping. Does anybody have a problem with us reaching out to the TDC?
Explaining about our organization and seeing if they see fit to come.
Let me know what Thursday, at 12:15, just checking commerce.
Yeah, I mean, these are basically doing the same in a lot of ways, Chamber of Commerce and
Different things.
right, but a lot of the same folks.
Yes.
I think Linda's on, she has a position on the TDC too.
Yeah, she's.
Secretary? Yeah, yes, okay. Okay, and the rec department? Reach out to them?
Seth Adams.
Seth Adams?
I think it was probably Seth that answered the phone.
He would be the person.
Right, okay.
But we won't have a TDC meeting this month. So we're trying to want to come to a meeting in February.
Okay. Who's, Gary, is your chairman of the TDC?
I want to say Ms. Gruberman took Mr. Mike's place because of his illness. So she's
So
the
Connie?
county now has put her on TDC, and she just carried on with Mike's. Ms. Gruberman.
Connie. Right.
But it's temporary, right, or is it real, or is it, so she's serving both?
It's still it's temporary right now. Down one person.
Okay, I guess would someone like to reach out to one or the other and explain to them what we do and then have them consider whatever, have them consider with their organization whether they should come, would want to come.
Let me say this, I'm not trying to be a cool guy. When you're a non-voting member, you don't have a lot to get up and go to come to a meeting. Because you can be here, you can not. You you don't really, unless they have something on the agenda. So it's hard to get a non-voting person. It's just a courtesy, more like that.
Right.
If you're marking people out, it might be good to add some of these 11 Houseman clout in the voting part. But if you're non-voting, you're just showing up.
Other thoughts?
True, and the friends have been to our meeting, couple meetings back, and actually we're talking about doing something one of the weekends during the celebration.
I agree with that comment. It's be hard for somebody that's not a voting member to have just to come. If we wanted to restrict the membership at a minimum, that would mean by having an ex-commission member, they would get the minutes, get the agenda, so that they are just aware of what's going on. Now that may be suboptimal, and it may be better to have them at the table, but that is one consequence of being a non-voting member. You can't use the communications.
Right. I guess the only concern that I guess I personally have is if you know, what's the size that's too large? You know, too many voting members. That's
You're at it pretty much.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you,
And I think that, some aren't coming, so
Right.
let's,
if you had
we need
15
to plug
here,
in,
it would be a lot.
and the TDA and the TDC, I think, should be voting members.
What's
Because they have, monies to do promotion with, so if we're looking to influence, make the AT community a priority, then those two go hand in hand.
This may make no sense. I don't know the format of the TDA and TDC meetings. Would it not make more sense for us to have more of a representative from our committee going to them, keeping them up to date with, hey, here's what the AT planning board's doing, just keeping you guys, so that way when the time does come, if we say, hey, listen, we've got an initiative we want to put together.
Absolutely.
TDA has
We want to get
vacancies.
these flyers printed off or whatever, this will cost us $400. Can you guys help us out or whatever? And then we.
And that's why I was saying it's third Thursday. And our next meeting will be in February. If somebody wants to come 12:15 and make a connection with that group, then we'll
We just met last night, that's second, yeah, Monday. Second Monday.
Third Thursday, 12:15 TDC.
third Thursday.
Yes, in the Chamber of Commerce building downstairs. 12:15. I think it gives people who are on the committee at 12, it gives you 15 minutes to get there.
Second Monday, right here.
Bring your own lunch.
Or TDC.
Yeah, bring your own lunch. This is about Irish at this point.
What time, second Monday?
What time do you need?
12:15.
No, the TDA.
5:30.
well, Matt. With you being on the TDA, would we need another representative from this committee to come to that meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd say the same thing, because I'm absent, you've got two listed there.
So you're on the TDC?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
It helps to come from a different.
That's good.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. Well, I think what I'm hearing is, we need to reach out to, the rec department and the TDC, to talk to them about our organization and see if there's agreement that we kind of need to share, that, either they come to ours or we go to theirs or both. And then, I think as far as voting or non-voting, maybe we'll wait to see the results of me reaching out to some of these other folks.
I think Rob's right. I think that those two bodies are more, you go to them, not they come to you, so.
Because I think you're gonna be requesting some
Right.
kind of monetary assistance
They're just a
for
resource.
a project that you're going on. You really don't need them here.
Okay.
You need to make sure that you understand.
They're project by project oriented, so.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're inviting people into the Appalachian Trail function and all that kind of stuff, you know, they can help you out monetarily through your advertising and those types.
You don't think that they'd be more willing to support us if they had a vote at this table, or that's not necessary?
I think what happens is put people on the road, it's just too much.
Okay.
Personal experience. What he just said.
Well, and I can see it could look like a conflict of interest if they're on this board and then they go and request money
Yeah.
from their other board and they approve it, then it's kind of like, I'm approving my own money. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're heading in the right direction by coming to them, talk with them, presenting a project that's coming up. There's a application, just like he has an application, there's a TDA has an application, fill it out, what you're doing. According to y'all within that board. They have the bylaws, they have to work with it, they can plug that in and definitely do so.
Okay. What about that same thought process with the Main Street program? Should we be going to them?
No.
Earthquake.
Transit. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so to reiterate, we've got our planning meeting, if you will, for the renewal form scheduled for the 20th of January. We're relying on the town to provide the pizza. I'm going to provide the dessert, and people bring their own individual drinks. And I will send an email out about that, and if you can't be there, I'll send an email, please respond and let us know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a head count.
Yeah.
Talking to Ms. Harbach, come to the February meeting.
Did we set a date for February?
Yeah, that was the last thing, was the last sheet was the dates. I went through and looked at all the Tuesdays. You see that I annotated when there was no, from my point of view, there was no major holiday or whatever on top of those Tuesday meeting dates, but I did list the major holidays that might be closed. So we don't necessarily have to act on this, but we're looking at our next scheduled meeting for the 10th of February.
And I'm gonna put those in our book to make sure we got the numbers.
Okay. Good, thanks.
Some crazy reason there's one of those already reserved for something, I don't think there would be.
So that's kind of my recommendation. Looks like the Tuesdays are good throughout 2015 to have our meeting. So we'll see folks on the 20th if you can be there, and we'll see more folks on the 10th of February.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second? Okay. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Guys, if any of you are in town on Thursday, Macon County Academic Foundation's having a little meet and greet. It's grant writing. We give teachers grants for outside of the box kind of ideas, enrichment, stuff like that. You're all welcome. 6 o'clock, light refreshments.
I think I got it.